You may have heard people talk about cost, functionality, and time, and you can pick either, pick any two of those to minimize at the expense of the other. That's sort of a classic example of trade-off, but it gets very specific down to individual functions, features, things like that. And at some point in the development process of every product, choices have to be made. And those choices are where the trade-offs happen.
Why are trade-offs unavoidable, even in a well-funded or well-planned project? I mean, is it always something that's going to be part of the design process or development process?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, trade-offs are always going to be there because the reality is even something that's very well funded, it still has some finite amount of resource allocated, whether that's time, whether that's money, whatever it might be. There is going to come a time when decisions will have to be made. And regardless of the available resources, regardless of the size of the project, the number of engineers, every project from massive ones with thousands of engineers all the way down to a single engineer working on a simple thing, there's going to come a point when a trade-off has to be made.
Okay, so how do trade-offs shape the entire product development process from start to finish? That's a big question.
Well, so yeah. And initially, when you're approaching it, there's sort of an initial phase where you're looking at trade-offs. And a certain amount of this people do naturally. If you think about it, I mean, people encounter trade-offs with their time, with their money all the time. So they're sort of used to dealing with the idea of trade-offs. And when it comes to developing a product, it's the same thing. You start off and you have an idea for a product or a project, and you think about the functions that are there. You think about what you could do and what you have available in the time that you have and with the resources that you have. And then you prioritize, you think about the market, you try and figure out, okay, how are we going to address this? And then as you go through, you're going to discover new trade-offs that have to be made. You're going to discover things that are going to cost more or less, depending on whatever the choice might be as you're going through production or going through developing towards production. You're going to discover functionality and the question as to whether you want to, which parts of your market, your target market you might want to serve. And so all of that is going to involve those trade-offs and figuring out what is the best approach to take to achieve the goals that you have for your particular product or project.